Hey guys, it's the Gen Zer here, back at it again with some more insightful commentary regarding the dating culture, our modern dating culture. Today we'll be reacting to this video by Courtney Ryan titled "Exploiting Male Loneliness Reaches a New Low." So let's hear what she has to say and let's analyze it. Let's go.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we are going to be talking about the fact that Tinder has a new feature where people can pay $500 a month. For what, you might be asking? I really don't know.
So the thing about Tinder is it's truly an algorithm, and that's why I call it the algo. I don't call it Tinder. If you guys ever hear me refer to the algo in my content from now on, just know that I'm speaking of the algorithm app, aka Tinder, because it's truly not an app for you to find love. If any of you are trying to find that on there, then you're truly a lost soul on a lost mission. It really would be the blind leading the blind. Because if you're on Tinder and you're not looking for hookups and you're not particularly the type of individual who's highly sought after on Tinder, you're not only wasting your time. I mean, you're just doing yourself a huge disservice. But let's allow Courtney to carry on.
So we're going to look into it. I actually had posted about this on my Instagram story a few days ago, but decided to make an entire video about it just to reach more people. If you don't follow me over there yet, go give me a follow. I've been more active on my stories and I'm going to be sharing more stuff over there as well. So at the time of filming this, I haven't seen any other women talking about this. I've seen a few men post about it, but no women. And I think maybe hearing it from a woman, it will really drive home that you shouldn't be paying for this. I don't
So kudos to Courtney Ryan. I'll say that she's one of the few women on YouTube whom I've seen try to address issues which plague mostly men from a more or less objective perspective. So I'll give her kudos for that. However, I do believe that men's issues should be resolved by men because as men, we look for role models to be able to achieve the outcomes which we want to achieve, right? We look for people who've accomplished or gone through the issues which we're going through to be able to model after them. And I don't think Courtney Ryan would be the best candidate for someone who's gone through dating as a male. However, it's very important that she provides her insight not only to male members of her audience, but also to her female audience, as I'm sure she has a huge and significant female audience. And any message which men would probably pass on would be best stated by her. It'll be much more receptive to be heard by her female audience. So let's see what she has to say.
care what they're offering. I don't even care what this article says. My advice before we even get started, don't pay for this.
Smart.
I'll tell you why as we go through and we can look at this together, but all right, so there's this article here from USA Today and the title, Can't Buy Me Love? Think Again. New Tender 500 a month plan offers heightened exclusivity.
Let's go back here. Any bozo who's going to spend that kind of money on this plan, man, I don't know what to tell you because this is truly a waste of money. You could take that $500 a month and you can invest it in the S&P 500. Guys, we're probably due for a stock market crash. So guess what? ETFs, aka exchange traded funds, ETFs and other forms of mutual funds are probably going to be very cheap. You need to create yourself either a Fidelity account or create yourself a Vanguard account and then go invest in ETFs. Go invest in mutual funds. Build your portfolio. If there's a skill set which you want to learn in order to, further your career, in order to further your passion, go ahead and pay for that skill set. Pay for a course to learn that skill set. If you spend $500 on a Tinder plan, you're a fucking idiot. You hear me? A fucking idiot. Don't do it.
Buy Me Love? Think Again. New Tender 500 a month plan offers heightened exclusivity. It sounds to me like somebody needs money. It sounds to me like Tinder doesn't like the fact that men are wising up and don't want to pay money for nothing.
Guys, the ratio of male to female on Tinder is preposterous. I mean, there's at best you might find a ratio of 70% male to 30% female. And mind you, not everyone is going to be heterosexual. But let's be generous and let's say that everyone is heterosexual on Tinder for argument's sake. 70% male versus 30% of females. This is beyond a sausage fest, guys. And guess what? The females on Tinder, they have plenty of options. Every single male who reaches out to them is essentially just another number. You're not of consequence. Unless she truly finds you desirable, she doesn't have to waste her time communicating with you. And even if she does find you truly desirable, there are other desirable males who are also reaching out to her on Tinder. Have you guys ever done a Tinder experiment where you either pose as a female and you try to see what sort of matches you get? You could pose as the most unattractive female ever known to mankind. You will get plenty of matches. Now, I challenge you to create a Tinder profile as a very attractive male, you'll get some success, but nowhere near the success that you will get as a very unattractive female. And that experiment has been replicated over and over again on YouTube. Guys, feel free to look up those experiments in your spare time. But if you're paying for Tinder, you're making a huge mistake. Would not recommend it.
Anyway, this says, would you pay $6,000 a year for a
No,
dating app? I hope
no,
your answer is no.
no.
Tinder on Friday announced a new subscription plan called Tinder Select, an invite only membership offered to less than 1% of users. I'm not buying that, first of all. Applicants that are accepted can
Cap.
unlock exclusive perks like early access to new features and a virtual badge for $4.99 per month.
Let me take a breather and chat a bit about
Ad. Ugh. Ad. All right, let's.
something that's become like my right
We
hand.
don't
It's
need
always
ad.
there, and I use it every single day, rain or shine. It's Notion, an absolute godsend of a
So, what do you get? For
Yeah.
$499? It sounds like a Ponzi scheme. It's
Why would you spend $499 on Tinder? Guys, what are you looking for? If you're looking for an actual relationship, it's best for you to actually spend that money towards a matchmaker. It would actually be much more productive if you were to spend that money on a matchmaker instead of Tinder. If you're looking for hookups, trust me, Tinder is not the app to get that. Tinder is not where you go for hookups unless you're extremely attractive. And even then, it's probably going to be fairly difficult for you to get the women you desire on Tinder. I listen, I have friends of mine who are very successful with the ladies. They don't even use Tinder. They don't use the algorithm because it's a fire dump. It's a dumpster fire. It's awful. Don't waste your time with that garbage.
the app's fourth paid tier option, joining Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, and Tinder Platinum. The new premium tier is going to have a relatively tiny amount of new payers, but a significant impact on revenue per payer and ultimately on revenue. Okay, so how do you use Tinder Select? According to Tinder's website, a Tinder Select,
Oh, we don't
guess
care.
what? If they wanted to match with someone and then messaging them on Instagram, it doesn't work. A profile with an unblurred photo, a select mode that lets members see and be seen by the app's most sought after profiles for more exceptional connections.
Guys, this is the whole shtick of Tinder. Um, Whenever you create an account, it's essentially like a game of cards, right? They will show your profile to a few users, and if you're not a highly selected profile as a male, then you're going to get pushed to the bottom of the stack of cards. They'll only show the most attractive of males, and in order for you to get your card pushed higher of the stack of cards, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay for Tender Plus, Tender Premium, or whatever garbage that they're advertising now. You're going to have to pay for that. Why would you want to pay for this? Why would you want to pay for this service? It's not even truly a service. If you guys want to make connections with women, you need to either one, find yourself in social settings where there are women, or two, actually use methods which have been proven to work for the majority of men. Tinder is not one of these websites. There are other websites. I'm not going to list them here. Uh, you know, I'm not going to list those websites or the website I have in mind. But Tinder is definitely not the one which you guys should be using. As the Gen Zer, I find it repugnant that we have large corporations trying to take advantage of our social and just biological impulses. They understand that we want to be sociable. We want to attract, you know, attract members of the opposite sex if we're heterosexual, which most of us are. We as if we're young men, we want to date young ladies. If we're young ladies, we want to date young men. Guess what though? These corporations decide they need to make a huge buck from us simply because of that. Guys, don't let them do that to you. Do not use the algorithm. It is pure toxicity, guys. Don't waste your time using that garbage. And I'll make a video in the future detailing exactly what you guys need to do to place yourself in environments where young ladies are located. And I promise you guys, I'll never be the buy my course, bro. Like most of this is just social behaviors, which most people just have to have a leap of faith and take. It's nothing that you should ever spend your money either buying a course to learn, and it's nothing that you should spend money to get access to. If you live life, if you're just living your regular life, you will get much more than what the garbage algorithm is offering you.
And be seen by the app's most sought after profiles for more exceptional connections. I'm not even going to say anything about that
Trash.
because I
Pure
think we
trash.
all know that that's not going to help you.
That's
Early
true.
access to new features, way to hide advertisements and see like we're rolling into this really exciting time period for Tinder, Kim said earlier this month at Goldman Sachs conference. First half of the year, we're focused on revenue and building that foundation. Clearly, getting that revenue growth to become double digit again. Okay, so yes, they're struggling. And then now we can work on these great innovative.
I couldn't say clearer myself. Tinder's trying to rip you off. Like they're trying to fleece you for every single last shekel which you have. They're trying to fleece you for every single last penny which you've ever earned. Imagine, guys, we're already living in precarious financial times. And if you go ahead and you spend your money on this bullshit, you deserve whatever you have coming to you. You can't complain if you're spending your money on Tinder. You could spend your money on improve. If you're not getting dates, spend your money on improving yourself. Maybe, go to the gym, take better care of your physique. Maybe you're not looking right. Maybe your face is not as handsome as it could be. Purchase some facial cream. I don't know. Get a haircut. I'm not sure. Like just improve yourself. Spend that money actually improving yourself, either getting a skill set or making an investment or just physically improving yourself. But if you spend that money on Tinder, then you're just wasting money down the drain. Whether you have money or not, that is not a good financial investment. That is horrible investment, which has a horrible ROI. I mean, the return on investment for this is just basura, pure trash, garbage, manure, garbage. I tell you. Ugh.
Features. It's not just Tinder launching more expensive subscription tiers. Hinge, another dating app owned by Match Group, recently added a new $49.99 a month tier, Hinge X, to pair with its lower priced $29.99 a month subscription plan. So yeah.
Translation: all of these garbage dating apps are trying to make a killing off of you. They're all trying to make money off of you. That's it. They all see you as a piggy bank. And now it's time for them to break the piggy bank and collect. No more free service. I remember at the onset of dating apps back around the early 2010s. I remember how people used to just go on dating apps and have so much success. That's no more. That is no more. Well, to go on the dating apps and have success without paying. Oh, that's no more. Trust me. The dating app, the new algorithms which have been instituted essentially make it difficult for you to match with any real person in your area. if you're looking for either a meaningful connection or if you're just looking to hook up, you're going to have a hard time doing that with those new algorithms. Guys and gals, if there's a time to give up the dating apps, it's kind of now. Go outside, touch grass. I don't mean to be a boomer, but really it's the truth. Touch grass and abandon this BS.
Hinge X to pair with its lower price $29.99 a month subscription plan. So yeah, long story short, if you're looking for my advice, don't pay for this. I think if you're someone who's going to use dating apps, it is crucial that you know when it's time to walk away from it and stop giving them your hard-earned money.
Don't give them your hard-earned money at all. I've listened, and I'm saying this from experience. I've actually paid for dating app services, and for the most part, I've pretty much wasted my money. I mean, I did get a few more dates, but pretty much none of them materialized to anything meaningful. I might have gotten a hookup or two out of it, but I mean, come on. For the money which I've spent, that was still a horrible return of investment. Even if I did get a hookup, that's still pure garbage. The way the dating apps are set up. If you have the money, invest it in something better. Um, yeah. And honestly, I'll say there's only one exception in dating apps. If you're using dating apps in the United States of America, especially as a young Gen Z man, oh, you're wasting your money. But if you're traveling overseas, certainly do use the dating apps. I think the algorithm does have utility when you're traveling overseas. However, if you're in the United States and you're trying to use the algorithm, you're just throwing money down the drain. It's actually much better if you just give me or any of your family members the money. I'm your big brother, by the way. I'm watching you.
And the sad thing about this is there are men out there who feel like this is their only option and they will pay
Sad.
for it. I'll be honest, a part of me
Sad.
thinks, well, survival of the fittest. But then another part of me, which is the majority part of me, feels so empathetic because imagine being so lonely and single that you shell out $500 a month without a guaranteed result.
Hiya, Solar Pros.
What's
Do
wrong
you
with
need high
all
quality
these
solar leads so you
ads?
can win the game at
Holy.
doubling your solar business?
You guys can let me know what you think down below.
Yeah, if you're shelling out $500 a month, then loneliness isn't your issue. Loneliness is not the issue you have at all because you can have company for without spending anywhere near that. You have $500 to blow a month. You want some company? Take a fifth of that, go to the nearest bar. Take a fifth of that, go to the nearest lounge near you. Take a fifth of that, go to the nearest nightclub. Bring a friend. You'll have a much more better time. You'll have a much better time than spending all 500 of that money on Tinder. This is ridiculous, people. This is ridiculous.
Below, but I mean, there are people who can pay $500 a month to like pay a woman to go out with them. It's a service.
Professional substitution, as I like to call it, when you're professionally substituting currency for intimacy. I wouldn't recommend it. And also, guys, I do not advise that anyone violate the law. Do not violate the law in your local jurisdiction. Do not commit crimes. I will never advertise that. Do not commit crimes. Uh, but if you're willing to part ways with $500 by spending it on Tinder via Tinder, you might as well partake in professional substitution. I don't know what to tell you here. At least you'll get some materialization of of the usage of your money. You'll see where you spend it on, but if you spend it on the algo, it'll just literally go down the drain.
Do I agree with that or recommend it? No, I don't.
I do not recommend it either, guys. I do not recommend partaking in professional substitution, especially when it is illegal. And if you're living in the United States, where I am, it is illegal in most jurisdictions. Guys, it's illegal in all 50 states, including Nevada. For those of you bozos out here who are going to tell me, oh my God, it's legal in Nevada. It's not legal in Nevada. You go do that in Las Vegas, you're going to jail. You're going to, yeah, you're going to jail. But the sole exception is in Nevada, in counties where there's below a certain amount of people, I forgot what the population is. If there's less than that population threshold, then you can partake in it. Of course, in counties, of course, in the county where the world famous Bunny Ranch is located, the population threshold is lower than the amount pursuant to Nevada law. But guys, do not go in Las Vegas and partake in professional substitution, or else, yeah, you're going to jail.
But I also don't recommend paying $500 a month. What are you getting? Now,
Nothing.
this is just my opinion, so I'll say that. But I think if I had to guess the effect that you're going to get from paying $500 a month to get probably nothing in return, it's going to make you feel worse. You're going to waste your money,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to help your dating life or you as an individual. You're just going to lose money and be more sad.
Right?
This isn't helping men. And I say men because we all know no women are paying for this.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I know Tinder is a business at the end of the day and they're trying to make money, but this is just scummy to me, and I hope that you guys can see it for what it is. I would love to be a fly on the wall in a meeting at Tinder and hear what they're saying about this new $500 a month thing, and honestly, just their business in general. Like, what are the conversations like?
I think I can deduce what their conversation is like. They probably think, we got these bozos to pay us quite a lot of money for the prior services which we've rolled out. So why not roll out a new, more expensive one and make more money from them? They paid the last times. Why won't they pay this time around? And guess what? Bozos are going to pay this time around. Maybe not as many bozos as previously. But guess what? They'll realize, hey, we could fleece those bozos for 500 a month. Let's up the ante. What about 1,000? Maybe someday we'll get to 5K, 10K a month. Yeah, we have a personalized Tinder service where we send a dating expert directly to your home, and they help you with your dating profile, and they're essentially a matchmaker, but they're helping you by customizing everything about you, including your appearance, and they'll come to your door and do that. Meanwhile, they're doing shit for you which you could have done for yourself for free.
They probably are seeing the articles about how men are more lonely and more single than ever before, and they're probably jumping for joy. They're probably getting in their meetings like, yes. Like, I just picture them all sitting there like evil, which is maybe a cynical thought for me to have, but I just think we all know at this point that dating apps don't work for a lot of men.
Dating apps don't work for most men. Guys, I've managed to have literally one relationship. Okay, let me tell you my success from dating apps. I got one relationship and one hookup. No, about three hookups. And that's in my, let's see, approximately 6 to 10 years of using dating apps. I've probably swiped on countless profiles. I've probably swiped on thousands, if not tens of thousands of profiles. And I have at best 4 success stories to show for it. Don't waste your time with this bullshit, guys. I mean, think about the statistics here. Think about the ratio. 4 out of 10,000. If I told you that your chance of if I told you that if you went to work, your chance of earning a wage was 4 out of 10,000, you wouldn't even leave your bed. You would look at me like I'm crazy. 4 out of 10,000? Come on, man.
I think there are men who they work wonders for. I met my husband on Tinder. Okay, so I know they work for people. I know people who have met.
Is she going to show us what her husband looks like? And I'm not trying to put her on the spot. I understand that she's doing great work here, and trying to communicate to her audience about the issue. Well, she's done a lot of videos which communicates to her audience about, regarding the issues which men face. But let's be transparent here. What does your husband look like? I'm sure your husband is a highly selected male by most females. So and I'm pretty sure most of you guys listening to this conversation right now is not that. Neither am I. I'll be honest with you. Neither am I. I'm just your average everyday normie. So are most guys. We're average. And for the average male, dating apps are a nightmare.
Their significant others on dating profiles. Actually, a few of the married couples I know met on a dating profile, but the men did not have to pay $500 a month
They sure
to get
didn't.
that success. And I don't think that paying more is going to equal more success or a better return. I think it's just going to equal you paying more money and nothing is really changing. And maybe I'm wrong. Actually, this is something I would love to be wrong about, but we know the dating app game too well at this point, guys. I've heard from too many of you. I've seen the statistics about the ratio of men versus women on dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
There are like double the amount of men on dating apps than there are women. We've seen how women are much more picky on dating apps because they're just
Mm-hmm.
going off of a few photos of you and superficial things that really don't matter that much. And not all dating apps are created equal. At this point in time, I don't necessarily think that Tinder is your best option, and especially after this $500 thing. I think there are other better apps to meet on.
My advice to you is to not use any apps at all. My advice to you is to use the app which we've been given since the creation of the planet. Or not, well, the app which we've been given since we were born. It's called Real Life. That's the app we should utilize. Real life. Human interaction, social interactions. Since our species first appeared on planet Earth, we've had this dating app. It's not an actual dating application. It's just called living your life in the real world, guys. Go outside, touch grass, interact with others. I know as a Gen Zer, we're much more likely to just stay cooped up in the house. Let's not do that, guys. Let's step outside, step out of, you know, go outside of our boundaries, explore instead of just being glued to our mind control devices and swiping on faces, most of which we're never going to meet. Come on, guys, let's take initiative here.
But let's also be honest, dating apps don't work for a lot of men. It's just the reality. Of course, there are things you can do to make your profile better. I think a lot of it starts there. I have critiqued and reviewed profiles and videos before, and with these small changes, the men could have so much better success.
the the issue is that even if most men make significant changes to their dating profile, the success which they'll experience directly as a result of those changes will be slim to none. It will truly be marginal. It's a waste of time to try to maximize your dating app presence when there's so many other practical things you can do which will yield much better results. If you're a Gen Zer, you're probably much more likely to, find someone you're interested in at work or at school, or just going about your everyday life. Find a hobby or, an activity that you enjoy and make friends there. Grow your social circle. Warm approaches will yield the best results because guess what? You tend to be in person. You tend to speak to people face to face. They get to see your sense of humor. They don't just see your mug. They don't just see your face on there. They get to see your whole body. They get to see your sense of style, your sense of dress. They get to smell your scent. Are you an interesting individual? Are you dry as drywall is talking to you like watching paint dry? They get all of that when they're speaking to you in person. And guess what? The people whom you meet through your social circle are much more likely to feel comfortable speaking to you because you're validated. You're socially validated. Hey, here's a friend of a friend. Okay, if you're the friend of my friend, then I can see myself being your friend. Guys, my final message to you is do not spend your money on dating apps. Do not waste your money on that BS. Yes, it can be lonely. Yes, it's important that we try to find some companionship at times. But listen, man, there's so many other things which should be done before getting on dating apps. I think dating apps really should only be reserved for men who have reached the pinnacle of life. The dating apps should only be used by highly successful men who truly To end this conversation, guys, do not use dating apps at all. Don't waste your time for it. That's just a general rule. Let's build ourselves up. Let's find hobbies to partake in which we enjoy. And let's meet people through the social circles which we meet, while partaking in those hobbies. If I catch a bozo spending $500 on the algorithm, my goodness, I don't know what to do to you. I can't slap you. I mean, it's your own money. But hey, spend it as you wish. Anywho, it's the Gen Zer, and I'm out. Peace.